Namaskar my dear students, I am KG Kapoor. Welcome to Industrial Safety and Fire Safety Management class. In this class, you will learn about case study of Bombay dock ship explosion, which is one of the important subject of several case studies under the man-made disasters covered in week 11 of the course. Before starting the course, let us all pay homage to all those brave firefighters and others who lost their lives in explosion by observing 1 minute silence. The subject has been indexed in overview, introduction, timeline of accident, post-explosion, result of explosion, plan of docks, losses, lessons learned and legacy, commemoration and comparative analysis, reflection and conclusion, and certain references. We should understand what is an explosion and what is explosive substance. An explosion substance is a solid or liquid substance or mixture of substances which is in itself capable by chemical reaction or producing gases at such a temperature and pressure and at such a speed as to cause damage to the surrounding. An explosion occurs due to rapid expansion in volume of a given amount of matter associated with an extreme outward release of energy, usually with generation of high temperature and release of high pressure gases. There are certain disasters in history. On 30th May 1626, Wang Chang explosion occurred at armory of gunpowder and ammunition where 20,000 deaths were reported. On December 6, 1917, a ship with 9,000 tons of explosive collided and 2,000 deaths and 9,000 injured resulted. On October 4, 1918, T.A. Gillespie's company shell loading plant exploded, an ammunition plant in Survey, resulting in death of 100 people, destroying 300 buildings, and total loss of that time is 18 millions. On April 14, 1944, Bombay dock explosion reported. A British freighter SS Fort Steichen carrying 1400 tons of explosives and 240 tons of weapons, torpedoes and mines caught fire due to improper storage. That resulted in 2 massive explosions, killing some 800 to 1300 people. The shock wave from the explosion shattered windows, damaged nearby buildings, and other nearby ships moved in the vicinity. You are looking the brief detail on the screen. The builder of the ship was Prince Rupert Dry Dock and Shipyard at Canada. The ship was launched on 31st July 1942. It has sailed from Birkenhead. It had departed on 24th February 1944 from Birkenhead. Captain of the ship was Captain Naismith. The accident happened on Friday 14th April 1944. The location was Victoria Dock. The ship was SS Fort Steichen and the capacity of the ship was 7,142 tons. It was having a cargo of ammunition and the ship belonged to British Ministry of War and Transport. On right side figure, you are seeing the 2 figures. The top figure is the before the explosion and the bottom figure is after the explosion. The timeline of incident should be recalled again. On 24th February 1944, ship left Birkenhead, UK, convoy of 20 other ships with cargo for Karachi and Bombay. The Karachi cargo was having RAF planes, general stores, explosives and ammunitions. The Bombay cargo was having 1935 tons of explosives and service stores and containers of gold bars. Before the explosion, after the ship departed from Birkenhead, Cheshire, UK, the picture was looking like you are seeing on the screen. On 30th March 1944, ship reached Karachi, where part of cargo was discharged, leaving void of 286,000 cubic feet in her hold. The new cargo, with incompatible materials like cotton, timber, lubricating oil, resin, sulfur and other combustible, along with the explosives ready for departure, safety rules have broken. Captain Alexander James Naismith protested at being forced to carry such a mixture of cargo, but wartime realities demanded that Karachi cotton reach Bombay mills. Cotton was as vital for India's economy as were the explosives that the ships was carrying for her war efforts. On 9 April 1944, ship left Karachi carrying high degree of risk. Here is the storage plan of SS Fort Steichen on April 14, 1944. In pink color, you are looking the ammunitions loaded. In the pocket of the ammunitions, there the cotton has been loaded. Both materials are highly incompatible. Incompatible means they cannot be kept together. Next is the oil, which is again an incompatible material, which is denoted in blue colors. And in yellow color, there is timber, rice, scrap that loaded in Karachi. So entire cargo has been incompatible loading material. On 12th April 1944, the SS Fort Steichen reached at Victoria Dock, Bombay. Nobody in the docks had an inkling that she was carrying explosive cargo. Ship was without the customary red flag to indicate that it has sensitive cargo ship. Here again the safety rules broken. As a result, the cargo was not unloaded even after 48 hours after berthing. A series of errors compounded the tragedy that stuck 2 days later. As per the Bombay Port Trust, a BPT bylaws and the safety regulations, a ship carrying explosive is not allowed into the docks, but in emergency war situation, above rule is suspended subject to the cases where military officer has given a certificate of grave urgency with additional alternative measures of safety. Such a certificate was given in case of Fort Steichen under the condition that additional safety measures should be adopted. On 14th April 1944, throughout the morning, she was active as cargo hooks swayed a load of commodities from the Fort Steichen. Firemen at the fire station as usual were shining their brass to keep their fire engine shining. On 14th April 1944, the fateful day, 1400 hours, the coolies noticed smoke drifting out of the hold number 2 of the ship. Series of fire warning whistles and alarms sounded abroad. The ship crew started pouring musky water in the ship hold. Fire engines from Alexander Dock and Air Force Squad promptly arrived and started to hose steam the smoke hold. On 14th April 1944, around 14:15 hours, the firemen, though aware of the dangerous situation, there was no panic. The prompt arrival of fire engines then seemed no reason to think that fire could not be controlled. Total 32 jets of action, pouring gallons of water into the ship. The fire still gained. Soon it became apparent that the firemen were losing ground. A call was put through the fire brigade control for additional appliances. Look the right hand side figure when just smoke was coming out of the hole number 2. On 14th April 1944 at 14:30 hours, large part of fire services were on flare. 32 jet engines in action, pouring gallons of water into the ship hold. The fire is still gained. There was something preventing the water from reaching the seat of the fire. The deckhead under the fireman's feet grew hotter. The water stream played over the deckhead turned to steam. It was now clear that the fire was out of control. Sides and deck became cherry red, blanching thick black and brown smoke. Flames shot mast high. Orders to abandon ship was given by the in charge. But in panic and chaos, no sound never reached to the fireman's ears. Sound have never reached to the fireman's ears. On 14th April 1934, subsequently, the firemen, though aware of the dangerous situation, there was no panic. At 4:05 p.m., the ground rumbled and explosion took place. Force striking blew up. A huge firewall was created and the shock wave that shattered windows up to 12 kilometers away. With it went gallant firemen and fire engine disappeared from the face of the earth. Many ships destroyed which were moved nearby. At one stroke, the key port of Bombay was taken out of the war. At 4:35 p.m., after 30 minutes, a second explosion happened. The second explosion occurred, splitting the ship in half and sending debris flying in all directions. The shock waves from the explosion radiated outward, causing damage to residential neighborhoods and buildings surrounding the port. What was the impact? Post-explosion impact. There was the political impact, there were economical impact, there was the social impact, the legal impact. After any disaster, basically these four impacts are seen visible in one way or the other way. Right hand side you can look the picture at 16:05 hours or 4:05 p.m. the view of harbor after first explosion, and left then right hand side bottom picture showing the workers fleeing the scene after second explosion at 16:30 hours, 36 hours or 4:36 p.m. What was the result of explosion? Entire dock up to few kilometers were in flames. Fracture of 24-inch water main by a metal piece at least 20 feet long, completely blocking ferry road by fire debris and dislodged the tram wires. Destruction of 13 other ships. All around people and animal lying dead. Many firefighters disabled. Then news comes, the result of explosion. After 5 days, somebody smoked and ship blew up. No effective watch was kept. In fact, during war times, the news are mostly censored. Nobody questioned the military negligence of the military operations. See the picture on the screen, wreckage with fires and debris floating in the docks in a solid mass. This so much destructions were noticed out of this disaster. Look at the plan of the docks and showing the ship positions before explosion. There were the Jalpanja, Baroda, Australia, Iran, Elhen, Jalvaja and Port Covid. And what is the position and the plan of the docks after showing ships positions after explosion? Mostly they were destroyed. See the A, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, O, N. In Victoria dock, ships were on fire, and O, P, L, M on this fire, they were almost stunned. And deep drafted H and K, listing and the lifting were C and J, on land were the B, and disintegrated A, the fourth striking. The craters were created where the explosion took place, and at Prince Dock nearby, the ships Prince ships denoted by A were on fire and B was on the ground. Victoria Dock is totally destroyed and Prince Dock was badly affected. They are taken out of the war. Losses. See the figure, remains of the fort striking after the explosion, and there was a damage to the railroad car nearby. Losses cannot be estimated accurately due to the war. However, it is reported that 231 people were killed, including 5 brigade dock employees. 476 people were injured, 500 civilians were killed, 2,400 plus civilians were injured, 13 ships were lost, mainly Fort Steichen, Baroda, Fort Carrier, Kingwan, Elhen and Jalpadma. 50,000 tons of shipping was destroyed and equally tons of shipping severely damaged. As per documented information, the number of persons who died in the explosion will never be known and figures are conflicting. NFPA handbook listed 731 persons dead, other sources listed 1,500 dead, missing, over 3,000 injured. Couple of months after disaster, 3,083 people had requested claims for damage by fire or blast and to the property. 11,735 had put up claims for uninsured properties and 466 uninsured people had claimed as compensation for personal injuries. The service-wise loss is given in the table. The Bombay Auxiliary Fire Service reported 42 deaths and 85 injured. Bombay Fire Brigade have reported death of 24 persons. Bombay Salvage Corps have reported death of 12 persons and 2 persons injured. Bombay Port Trust employee 84 death and injured not known. Many more are missing while working at the Bombay Trust Force. City police have lost 14 people and 55 injured. Ship crews have lost 41 people and 123 injured. Army have lost 15 Jawans and 123 injured. Air Force have lost nothing but 15 injured. Navy have lost 7 persons and 160 persons injured. A crew of country crop lost 4 persons and 10 persons injured. So significant human loss out of the explosion have been recorded. There is a list which is kept and information is available on the website who died while attending operation duties, or normally called die at the altar on the duty in the state of Maharashtra, the martyrs. Before this explosion, acting chief officer Robert Thomas has lost his life and become martyred due to fire on board the hospital ship Madras at Alexandra Docks. And thereafter, so the biggest human loss of due to the explosion at the docks, and the list is up to the 67 people. Some of them are Harold Palmer, assistant officer commanding. He lost his life while on duty on 14/4/1944 while fighting the conflagration of dock explosion 1944. Then Robert Charles G. Andrews was a company officer. He also died in the same day with the same duties. Then Dinakar Vishram Shaler was a fireman who also lost his life on the same date while fighting the conflagration of dock explosion 1944. Then Babaji Keshav Bhosle is a fireman who lost his life on the same day for the same work. And Shankar Sitaram Parker, fireman who lost his life, became martyr on the same day on the same cause. and S.K. Abbas and S.K. Ismail, the fireman, who also lost his life on the same day, that is 14/4/1944, while fighting the configuration of Dhaka explosion. Monetary loss is not significant as compared to the human loss. When compared, they are not comparable even. However, in terms of money, the government have paid out 850 lakhs as damage by fire and blast, marine insurance up to rupees 150 lakhs, paid for uninsured properties 300 lakhs, the person injuries 13 lakhs, and miscellaneous policies 4.5 lakhs between the period of 1944 and 1946. The main loss the army suffered is the destruction of war efforts. The impact of Allied supply lines was seen visible. During World War II, Bombay, now Mumbai, played a critical role as a major port and naval base for the Allied force in the region. The explosion of SS Fort Steichen had a significant impact on the Allied supply lines that were crucial for supporting military operations. Also, there were setbacks and challenges for the military. Naval vessels that were damaged or destroyed by the explosion could no longer participate in naval operations, thereby reducing the fleet capabilities. Balancing military and civilian needs were another challenge. One of the challenges faced by the authorities was need to balance military priorities with the needs of the civilian population. The explosion impact was not limited to military operations, it also affected the local economy, trade, and the livelihoods of the civilians. And long-term effect on the war strategy was also there. The explosion highlighted the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to unexpected disasters during times of war. This event likely influenced the war planners and military strategists to consider the importance of redundancy and diversification in supply routes and storage facilities. What are the lessons learned and the legacy? The safety regulation and the protocols. The Bombay dockship explosion had a profound impact on industrial safety regulations and protocols. The catastrophic nature of the incident underscored the need for stricter guidelines and regulations for handling and storing hazardous materials, especially in densely populated urban areas. Public awareness and industrial safety was also increased. The explosion also raised the public awareness about the importance of the safety. The widespread destruction, the loss of life prompted discussions among policymakers, industrialists, and the public about the need for comprehensive safety measures in industrial settings. This led to increased demand for transparency, accountability, and responsible practices in handling dangerous materials. What was the impact on urban planning? The planners and the city officials began to consider the potential risks associated with industrial facilities in densely populated area. Zoning regulations and the land use policies were revisited to ensure that hazardous activities were located away from residential and commercial zones, minimizing the risk to human lives and the property. And the prevention and preparedness was also examined. The legacy of the explosion emphasized the importance of prevention and preparedness. The incident demonstrated that investing in preventive measures, though inspections, proper trainings for personnel and adherence to safety guidelines could significantly reduce the risk of catastrophic incidents. It highlighted the necessity of having robust emergency response plans in place to mitigate the impact of potential disasters. Look at the figure. The two memorials are there. At left hand side, the piece of propeller that landed at St. Xavier High School about 5 km away from the dock, and that part kept there for the memory of the firefighters. The memorial erected outside Mumbai Fire Brigade headquarters that consists for the firefighters who laid their life in fighting the fire. In 1968, late though, the Government of India designated April 14th the Fire Service Day in recognition of the valor and the sacrifice of the firemen who lost their lives in explosion and those who laid down their lives in line of duty. Learning from mistakes and the success. Analyzing incidents where safety measures were successful in preventing or mitigating disaster offers valuable insights into effective risk management practices. Conversely, studying the incident where safety measures failed highlight the importance of avoiding similar pitfalls. Influencing safety regulations. Development and enhancement of safety regulations and protocols. By identifying the gaps in existing regulations and understanding the context of different incidents, policymakers can create more comprehensive and effective guidelines for preventive and managing industrial accidents. A reflection and conclusion. Lessons for modern safety practices. The Bombay dock ship explosion offers valuable lessons that are relevant to modern safety practices. The application to contemporary challenges. Reflecting on the case study findings allow us to apply lessons learned to contemporary challenges. For example, the explosion impact on urban planning and the importance of preventing hazardous material from being stored in densely populated area can inform discussions about sustainable urban development and disaster preparedness. Now, this has also addressed the global concern, that is, global concern related to industrial safety, environmental protection, and disaster management. And it can also inspire the positive changes by understanding the tragic consequences of explosion. Individual, industries, and government can be inspired to initiate positive changes. The legacy of the disasters serves as a reminder that every effort must be made to prevent similar incidents and minimize their impact on human lives and the environment. And also the balancing the progress and the safety. Reflecting on the case study underscores the importance of balancing industrial progress with the safety consideration. This also helped in continuous learning and preparedness. The lessons from the Bombay dock ship explosion also stress the importance of continuous learning and preparedness. As new technology emerges and industries evolve, it is essential to remain vigilant and adaptable in preserving and responding to the potential disasters. Learning can be done by the case study learning, e-journals like Bombay dock explosion, Worldwide 2, photo and gallery seeing, and visiting the web stores. Conclusion is that reinforcing the significance of studying historical events like the Bombay dock ship explosion by reflecting on the lessons learned and considering their applications. In modern context, societies can work towards a safer, more resilient and future. The tragedy of the explosion transforms into an opportunity for positive changes with the hope that such incidents can be prevented and their impact can be minimized through collective efforts and improved safety measures. Thank you. I am sure you enjoyed the class. Namaskar. The next slide we are giving, there are certain references for your further study and the clarifications. Thank you.